You're listening to Real Talk Texas on 570 KLIF News and Information. Now, live in studio, your host, local real estate expert Steve Hakes.
Welcome to Real Talk Texas. Real Talk Texas is a forum where our listeners can get real advice from real experts here locally in the Metroplex. And as always, you can reach out to me, Steve Hakes, your host. I'm at realtalktexas.com. Just go to our website and send me a quick note, and I'll connect you with the expert that you may need for that time in your life. And yes, I'm a federally licensed mortgage originator, NMLS license 242522. In October, we started talking about real estate market in North Texas, and we had some great guests on the show. We found out quickly that the real estate market has really shifted, and you're not hearing this in national news, but it's shifted from a buyer's market to a seller's market. There's not enough inventory in the marketplace. There's not enough. There's too many buyers looking for houses. And what we found is we're getting multiple offers sometimes on homes within the first 30 days of them being listed. So that was pretty interesting for us. And we had Jenny Manning and the Jenny Manning team up in Plano, and she did a great job, telling us about that information. And we had Alicia Trevino from the Dallas market, and she talked about distressed inventory in the marketplace in Dallas-Fort Worth. And she and her team really focused not only on that, but they focus on the luxury market as well. But if she came on and she talked about short sales, and these are for if you're out there and you're listening and you're in a financial situation where you can't make your mortgage payment anymore, you might want to give her a call. That's Alicia Trevino, and you can go to her website. She's with Century 21 in Dallas, and she can help you out there. For the month of November, we really started talking about different things and how to protect yourself, how to protect your assets. It's more of a financial month. We're talking about that. And today, our producer, Paul Webb, has found Andy Raub, that's spelled R-A-U-B, to join us in the studio today. Andy's with Ameriprise Financial, Raub Capital Management Team, and he's located in Dallas, Texas. And we're really pleased to have him on our show today. Andy is also the author of The Peace of Mind Investor. And Andy's a graduate of North Texas, and he also has his MBA in finance and investments from North Texas as well. His area of focus and what we're going to talk about today is really about financial planning. We're going to talk about estate planning, and we're going to talk about retirement income strategies. And also some of the things you want to stay tuned for the whole show here today, because we're going to talk about what are the things. We've got about a month left to make any financial moves, and we're going to talk about what's happening in the financial environment. What are the moves that we need to make right now before the end of the year? So it's going to be a great show. Andy, we're happy to have you on the show today.
I really appreciate your show and how you try to reach out to people and really help them.
Thank you. Hey, Andy, just for our listeners out there that may not know you or may not have heard of Raub Capital Management, tell me a little bit about your background, how long you've been doing this.
I really started out in corporate finance and investment management back in the late 60s and early 70s, so I've been at this a long time. And in the mid-'80s, I formed my own company primarily to do estate planning and work with investments. And then we reformulated the company about 1996 or 97 to be primarily a financial planning and investment management company. So I don't have any hair left, as you can see, but I do have a lot of experience at this, and I've seen a lot of ups and downs too.
I really am interested in talking to you today because I think a lot of our listeners out there, they may or may not have a financial plan. I think we were talking before the show, and you were talking about everybody works different strategies, but there's no big picture. And I'm a firm believer in business and in life if you have a plan, and that's one of the things we'll talk about one day on our show is about life planning, which is a great topic. I was introduced to it
one
a few
of my
years
favorite
ago.
Topics.
I mean, you hear different strategies, and I know my brother-in-law and sister-in-law have brought in this book with all this paper. Here's how you manage your money and things like that. What is financial planning? What do you do with people?
Financial planning, frankly, is different things to different people, and it's kind of a buzzword. But what I view it as, everybody needs a pathway to follow. We need to have a sense of where we're going. I talk about living in the future, not in the past. So many of us, our past is bigger than our future. But we really need to make our future bigger than our past. So financial planning is simply a way of defining where we're going for the future, like building a path, knowing that we're probably not going to stay on the path, but at least it gives us something to follow. And when we fall off, we know we've fallen off and we can make adjustments, because I believe that life is all about mid-course corrections anyway. So if you think about being in an airport and you're walking from one terminal to another, there's two ways to do it. There's one way is just simply to walk, and another way is to get on the movable runway, and you go 3 times as fast. And that's what happens if you have a coach in your life or a financial planner or have a plan. It moves you along better.
So if you were sitting down with me the first time, I'm a dreamer. I have these great aspirations. I know that someday I'm going to be on a beach in Hawaii and just sitting there and relaxing when I get ready to retire. And I'm working a lot of different strategies. I'm trying to save here, and then things happen, kids, college, illnesses, things like that pop up. How do you bring somebody like me in and say, okay, here's where you should be planning to, or do you let them do the big dream, and how's that work?
I really think that the plan, whatever it is, begins with you. It begins with each one of us. And so a financial planner is simply a tool that helps you get where you want to go. A planner can also say, well, that's not realistic, and put numbers together, but everybody has to begin with what their vision of where they want to go is. And they have to understand what that is, and they have to then understand, is it realistic or not? And then be willing to make changes. It's all about managing the gaps.
Okay, and mainly managing the life events that may come up, and getting prepared for things that might happen, right?
I think most people don't realize, or they walk through life thinking, well, nothing's going to happen, and then the car breaks, or our house flooded 3 years ago with a broken water heater, somebody gets sick, somebody dies, somebody loses a job. All these life events happen, and they're going to interrupt what you think is a perfect plan. So you have to be prepared for those too.
And if you've just tuned in, you're listening to Real Talk Texas. And after the break, we're going to come back and hear more from Andy of Raub Capital Management Team, part of Ameriprise now. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about the things you need to know. So stay tuned.